Hello, everyone. Happy Monday.
It is Monday.
And we apologize for being a minute late, but we were so excited to see each other and talk to each other
Yeah.
again. It's been weeks that we forgot that we were supposed to be doing it live on the air for you folks.
Yeah.
Um, yes, it is me, Seth, and Carly back again. Thank you so
Yes.
much for holding down the fort while I was out of the country. But I am so excited to just jump right in and do this show and talk to you all about what we've both been doing for the last few weeks.
Yes. A lot.
Before we kick it off, let's say hi to a few folks already in the chat. Tolga checking in
Hello.
first off, in early. Michael Hack also in early. Hi. Uh, Blossom and Michelangelo, welcome from Darko's Corner. And of course, it wouldn't be a show without Michael Bingham
Yes.
welcoming everyone. Thank you for
Hello.
welcoming back. I really appreciate it. And Brian wonders if we're going to be talking about defying gravity
Yes.
this week. Absolutely. That is the agenda. That's actually going to be our main attraction, but we have an unofficial main attraction that I am excited to jump right into. So let's just kick off this recording. It's been a while. Let's see if I can remember how to do this script.
I know.
In
Refresh.
3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's been going on in our own lives. And I've been gone for a couple weeks on a big trip. Carly has also just come back from an amazing trip. And before we get into our very slender list of news in the queue this week, we are going to jump head on into both of our recent vacations. And I was gone a little bit longer, so I've got a lot to say. But before I do, I want to hear all about Carly's amazing trip to one of my bucket list locations, the Land of Oz.
Yes. Oh my God. Just got back yesterday. I have been wanting, like so many other people, once you heard about the Land of Oz, I don't remember when it was in my life. I heard about it, but I said, one day I am going there and experiencing this. The history alone is so cool. I love abandoned attractions. So whenever I travel and there's something abandoned, plus a theme park. So it kind of is like a melting of my two favorite passions. And last month I got to do a behind the scenes tour of the theme park itself, but that's way different than what the event is.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to explain a little bit about what the Land of Oz does.
Absolutely, because if you're not aware of this, you're like, there's a Wizard of Oz theme park. Well, there was, and it closed down, but a dedicated group of folks have been resurrecting it for a short time every year. I know I have some Orlando friends who are connected to a performer who are there. And I saw their social media pictures. I saw your social media pictures. So for those of us who are super jelly that we couldn't be there in person, tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the entire time you're there, so it was a theme park that operated from 1970, 1980 on the top of a mountain. It doesn't make sense. When you were there, you were like, I can't believe this still exists. It shouldn't exist. Against all odds, with a fire, with the natural weather. So basically it sits abandoned still each winter. The yellow brick road bricks sit in decay, and each fall they're called Aussies. They were the original performers from the 1970s to 1980. They kind of resurrected the park with this event called Autumn at Oz. It's only 3 weekends each September that guests are allowed to visit Land of Oz. It's literally only 3 weekends. It sells out. The demand is so high. It's a lot of people that maybe visited the park in the 70s as a kid and come back with their kids and grandkids, theme park lovers, people that just love the history. So Autumn at Oz, the best way to describe it is it's basically immersive, progressive theater that takes place throughout the park as you progress through the story of the Wizard of Oz. So basically, you are going through the movie starting at the Gale farmhouse, which is a full farmhouse. So it's like movie style sets. And you are going through the story of the Wizard of Oz, culminating in Emerald City. And it is just so cool.
Uh, yeah. I mean, for those of us who loved the Wizard of Oz scene in the Great Movie Ride and the MGM Adventures theme park that was in Las Vegas for a very short period of time, like the
Oh,
idea of a
yeah.
whole immersive, like Sleep No More meets Evermore, kind of immersive theme park around Oz just sounds incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it was, and it works so well.
Apparently, people are so excited they're trying to knock down your door just to get in it.
Yes, there's construction going on. I am so sorry. My neighbor is having construction done. So again, it feels almost like it shouldn't work because you're on the top of a mountain.
Uh,
It's so cool, and it was also so well run. We went on a Saturday,
mm,
which all the Saturdays are fully sold out. You have a timed entry, and it's kind of you work your own way along the path of the yellow brick road, and there's
mhm,
shows all along the way. And I thought, oh my god, we're gonna have to wait so long to meet characters because you can meet each
mhm.
of the performers after they do their show. The Tin Man, the Scarecrow. We waited no more than 10 minutes. They run this
Oh,
thing like a well-oiled machine, and I don't even know how they did because you're just on a mountain.
right. That's really great that they pace it correctly so that you're not like overwhelmed. It
Right.
still feels like a personal experience.
Absolutely. I loved it. We waited for all the characters. We watched every single show. But my favorite thing was in the 70s, there was a hot air balloon attraction that was
Oh,
basically, well, that's how you leave the park, just like in the movie, you know, how
uh-huh.
Dorothy floated away. They're all gone except for one, and you could see the one that's left.
Ah, that's great. That's great.
Yes.
Well,
Highly recommend. It sells out far in advance. Start planning come spring.
seriously, like you think that they could expand it gets so much social media attention. It's always selling out. You'd think that they could expand it, but I guess that's part of what makes it special that it's only a few people each year who get to.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely very special. You could feel that energy. You know, our bus driver, her dad, like built the park when it was first opening in 1970s. The woman sitting in front of me, because you have to take a shuttle bus up, literally to the top of a mountain. The woman in front of me, she had been visiting since the 70s and brought back her grandkids this time. So there's just like something really special about it. It's definitely like lightning in a bottle. It is unlike anything I've ever experienced. And if you can, go do it.
Someday. Well, I'm so happy that you got to check that out. I was busy on a bucket list trip of my own. I recently celebrated a big birthday and decided, with the help of family, to splurge on finally visiting Japan, which is something that I've
Incredible.
talked about for 20 something years. And I was really afraid after looking forward to it so long that it couldn't live up to the hype, especially in terms of the theme parks. That I think for a lot of Disney fans, like Tokyo Disney is this mythological rumored land where everything is perfect and wonderful and couldn't possibly be as good as the YouTube videos make it look, and people say it it is that good. It's even better, and I am now spoiled for life. Definitely visiting Walt Disney World is going to be really rough
Yeah, I'm
after
glad you mentioned
spending
that because
a
I
few
do the
days.
same exact thing. I overhype things so much in my mind
Yeah.
that sometimes I put off visiting them because I'm like, there's no way it is going to meet the created.
Well, I will say I put this off for a long time. One, because I thought that, once you do that, then, either it's, not going to live up to it, or just everything else will be disappointing afterwards. And I am a little afraid that next time I go back to the Magic Kingdom here in Orlando, that I'm just gonna be like, oh, I got to get out of here.
Did you see
But
Duffy and Friends? That's my number one question.
I I met Duffy's friends when I was in Hong Kong, and that was enough for me. That was I will get into it,
How
but
dare
the
you?
legendary queues at Tokyo Disney, I fortunately completely avoided. I never waited more than 15 minutes for anything the whole time I was there, which I know is very unusual. You hear about how epic the lines are, but I did not wait for any flavored popcorn, for any gyoza sausage, or for Duffy and Friends. Those were the three waits that there was no way to avoid standing in a line for an hour plus.
So the waits were over an hour for Duffy and
Um,
Friends.
yeah, there were some significant wait times, but I will say the whole experience of going to Tokyo Disneyland was way, way easier than I had it built up in my mind. Based on traveling to Hong Kong, traveling to Paris, I thought that traveling to Tokyo, not knowing a single word of Japanese, would be really troubling. Honestly, as long as you know three Japanese phrases, you are fine. Konnichiwa means hello or good day. Um, Arigato gozaimasu means thank you very much. And the most important word is sumimasen, which means pardon me or excuse me. Honestly, as long as you can say sumimasen a lot and be very friendly and polite and patient, you will go very far, especially at Tokyo Disneyland.
So
Had
I
no
need to
language
know.
barrier.
There's so much to ask. Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Lived up to the hype 100%. Better than Test Track, better than Radiator Springs Bracers. The acceleration of that final ascent and then the big hill down is like truly like a roller coaster type feeling. But the scenic, the animatronics, as good as anything that I've ever seen. Journey to the
Fantasy
Center,
Springs.
Fantasy Springs was my least favorite part of Tokyo Disney Sea. It is good, but it doesn't have the texture and the depth of the rest of Disney Seas, like compared to something like the Mysterious Island or the Fortress Exploration area. Um, it the Peter Pan ride is Spider-Man, with
Interesting. Yeah.
less moving prop. There's only one moving prop in the ride, and it wasn't moving on my day. So I guess more like Transformers than Spider-Man. It's really well done. The media is really well integrated, but it's what I go to Universal for, not what I go to Disney for.
Right.
Um,
Favorite thing
pro
you ate?
Favorite thing.
Sorry, I have so many questions, but I know there's
We
so much we could talk.
yeah. The lunch we had at Magellan's was easily the best theme park
Wow.
restaurant, way beyond Carthay Circle. And lunch for a 4-course lunch for two of gourmet, top of the line food, like like almost Napa Rose quality food for two people with wine, $93 out the door.
That's
Like
incredible.
that wouldn't even cover one person at an equivalent restaurant in Walt Disney World. That was by far the best. But the best snack the one snack we bought twice was the Mike Wazowski melon bun.
Yes. Oh,
It's my wife doesn't even like melon, and she was like, "We have to get that one again." The
wow.
best way to do it is get one of these Disney vacation packages. It's a little pricey, but honestly, we paid way less for 3 days, 2 nights at the Disneyland hotel than we would have paid for a vacation package at All Stars in Walt Disney World.
Wow. So you stayed at Disneyland
We
Hotel
stayed
there?
at the Disneyland hotel.
Wow.
Being able to walk right into Disneyland Park was a godsend. The convenience of it cannot be beat. I liked it better than I looked at the Fantasy Springs Hotel. I'd rather stay at the Disneyland Hotel than Fantasy Springs Hotel. If you want to go a little cheaper, there's a Sheraton that's like walking distance from the train station. That's probably your best like non-Disney choice, but it was worth 100% the package at the Disneyland Hotel. They gave us coupons to have unlimited soft drinks. Like we tried every boba tea and apple tea soda, really, really good. They have a ginger ale there that's really good. With like latte boba coffees. Amazing. Just all you want. You're gonna need it because it's so freaking hot there. I thought
Oh,
Orlando was hot.
that's what I hear. Yeah.
It was hotter than Orlando. It was brutally hot. So we needed the hydration for sure.
Wow. Did you
But
check
we
out the
got
other hotels? Like, did you walk around and?
honestly, we barely had time. They kind of structure it where you have one day in Disneyland Park, which is the day you check in, and then 2 days in Disney Sea, and I could have easily spent an extra day in any of the parks. There's just so much, it's like feels like the density of Disneyland with so many attractions packed in, but like on the scale of Disney World. So there's a lot of walking involved. But it's so beautiful, especially Disney Sea. The attractions at Disney Sea, other than Journey to the Center of the Earth, were good, but not the greatest ever. But it's the atmosphere of that park. You could spend a day just walking around, never ride a ride, and get your money's worth.
That's my favorite. What's
yeah.
the people watching like?
Oh my God. I I didn't want to be like rude and take photos, but the fashion is absolutely fascinating. The culture of you get a lot of these like teenager or early 20s girls in packs or couples who are there mostly for fashion shoots. And I saw a few of the people with the Duffy. I saw a lot more of the Duffy photo shoots in Hong Kong than I did in Tokyo. But like the people dressed as anime characters in real life is a real thing there. It's
Wow.
like Disney bounding to an extreme. And I'll say at Tokyo, at Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, I was there during Halloween Horror Nights, and it was getting hard to tell the actors from the audience because people were full on costume there. As anime characters I could not recognize, but I'm sure they were totally accurate.
Yes. So what did you purchase? Disney.
I did not purchase a ton of souvenirs. Our package came with a souvenir popcorn bucket, and we got. I bought a hat from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea because for some reason I was there on the 23rd anniversary. I don't know why you celebrate the 23rd anniversary of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which was actually a little disappointing. I liked it, but the lighting needs some brightening up. It was just so dark and murky. I couldn't actually see what was going on. Because it was the only hat I could find, and I wear hats. And we also got a stuffed Mickey with our. I'm gonna lose my headphones. We got a stuffed Mickey with our vacation package that I brought home and a bunch of swag. At Universal.
Yes, we got to go to Universal now too. Yeah, need everything.
This is great radio with me just jumping offline to I got this guy who, so these are
the
like
icon, yes,
evil teddy bears who have their own show that was like, it was 25 solid minutes at 110 decibels according to my Apple Watch, which kept crying at me, of evil teddy bears screaming, "Temporary world, you will die, you and me," just like random English phrases screaming at the audience with like house music and Japanese drummers and people dancing full out in 102-degree weather. Oh, it was it was a lot.
I've seen the videos and it looks a lot just from the video.
USJ's version of Halloween is very different from what we have in the States. They had only one haunted house, which had some things in it that you just couldn't do operationally in a United States haunted house.
And it's included there too.
All included, and it all runs all day. Like you can go through the haunted house from 9 a.m. It's there's some things like the zombies that just kick up at like 6 p.m. But like people just in the scare zones, people just kind of make these neat lines and leave these open pathways so that the zombies can just kind of fashion show back and forth while everyone takes pictures. And they have this, they love water. They have this Resident Evil or Biohazard live immersive experience where you basically shove a crowd, surround them with zombies, and have people shoot at them. And every time they get shot, there's just gushers of water spraying the audience.
This is like an AHN fever dream.
It absolutely, USJ. Tokyo Disneyland is the like perfection of Disneyness. It is the ultimate best version of every Disney. USJ is like this weird fever dream mashup of different parts and pieces of Universal parks just smushed together randomly with a whole bunch of crazy anime sprinkled over the top.
Are you happy you went?
I am happy I saw it once. I would go back to Tokyo tomorrow. I will not be returning to Osaka until they have something new that is not anywhere else in the world, because their version of Super Nintendo's being plopped right down the street here in Orlando. And other than getting to see Jaws again, and also to see my friend Daniel, who we worked together in entertainment production in 1997.
So
He's out there working entertainment there. Other than getting to see him in Jaws, I don't have a need to see Universal in Japan again.
Did you get the Jaws hot dog?
I could not find it. I found other Jaws eats. Everyone told me about the hot dog. Checked all the menus. I don't know if it's seasonal or what, but could not find it anywhere in Amity, unfortunately.
Oh no! How
I
was
will
the
say
food there
that
otherwise?
I would say Universal's food, while it looked nice, was not up to the standard of Tokyo Disney's food, and I'd say not up to the standard of Universal Orlando's food. We ate at Louis and had a perfectly mediocre slice of pizza, and also
love it.
had an orange blossom or an onion blossom at Finnegan's. They do not have the potato onion web like we have at our Finnegan's. They just had an onion blossom that I swear to God was just brought in from an Outback. 100%. They just Uber Eats in from Outback. But their CityWalk had a really good traditional Japanese restaurant on the top floor. We stayed at the Parkfront Hotel right there in CityWalk. Very convenient. Very sophisticated bathroom, never figured out the toilet entirely, and very, very hard beds. I will
Did
say.
you go on the roller coaster?
We did. I did both of their major coasters. I did Hollywood Dream, which is sort of like if you took Hulk, took out the launch, took out the loops, and gave it some anime music that I did not actually sync to the track at all. There you'd have Hollywood Dream. I did not do it backwards because that's just no.
No.
And I will say, Flying Dinosaur is a very rare one and done for me. I will put in the same category as Sky Rush or Thigh Crush. If you think that Manta in the back row is intense, Flying Dinosaur in the back row almost killed me. And I mean that almost literally, because I tried to swallow as it was going into the diving loop, the second diving loop that goes into this underground tunnel, and I felt like an elephant was sitting on my Adam's apple. Like,
That's
could not
scary.
breathe, could not swallow, thought I was dying. And yeah, that was one and done.
So is the park a one day?
I was there for a day and a half. If it had not been Halloween season, I definitely would not have needed a day and a half. It was cool seeing their version of the Beetlejuice show. Super trippy, like weird mashup of the second and third Beetlejuice from Orlando, but like with 20-year-old music. And the Sing show had some fun animatronics, but other than that was not up to the standard of, like in Disneyland, we saw the Big Band Beat show, which just blew my mind. And also their musical world show in Disneyland, just like Broadway quality. Absolutely. But there is a ton of live entertainment in USJ. They have all these little magical creature shows and encounters. Like their Death Eaters were so cool. They actually like do wand duels with the guests with flashing wands that create like light effects. Yeah, in general, they have way more live entertainment than we do, and that's something I would love to see come to Orlando.
Right. So you'd say it's probably worth it for the atmospheric.
Yes, I will say I for to be able to explore a new park. There's like a weird mashup park, and also for their live shows. That was worth it. Getting to see Waterworld entirely in Japanese, but exactly the same script and stunts that just in Japanese. That was pretty trippy. That was fun.
That's incredible. And how many days did you spend at Tokyo Disney? 3?
3 days, 2 nights in Tokyo Disney, 2 nights, a day and a half at the Universal Park. And just like I said when I visited Paris, that I wish I'd spent less time in Disneyland Paris and more time in Paris. As much as I liked seeing Osaka, I wish we had stayed longer in Kyoto. Took the bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto, and then Kyoto was just a very short regular train ride away from Osaka. Kyoto, one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen, and we just scratched the surface of their gardens and their historical stuff and their vintage shopping. If you are into vintage, literally, like, my wife found a sweatshirt from her marching band in circa like 1989 in a vintage shop. And it was like, we think we know like who originally, one of her friends who originally owned it and passed it on, because it's like, yes, it was like karma that we found this in a vintage shop. It was like, all right, we have to bring this home. So yeah.
Did you bring an extra luggage piece for the shopping?
You know what? Here's what I recommend. There is this chain of stores. It's sort of like it's Japan's Walmart, but on crack. It's called Don Quixote. There's one in Tokyo that's like 5 stories tall and is 24 hours and is packed to the gills all the time. And they sell cheap luggage. So we went with only carry-on, and we spent like $40 on this enormous 50-liter duffel bag that we stuffed full and checked it on the way home. And that is the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's such a great tip. I also love packing very light going. So if I buy stuff, it's totally fine.
You know what? I'm going to be working on a article for Attractions Magazine with kind of things that I wish I'd known, things that I recommend to anyone else who's taking their first trip there. But yeah, travel light, because go there light, because you're going to come back heavy, for sure.
And it sounds hot, so I guess you're just packing
super hot. Like, yes, dress light. Expect to sweat through and have to change your clothes twice a day. So it's really helpful if you stay somewhere that has a self-service laundry in the hotel. But yeah, definitely bring a raincoat and an umbrella. You're going to need the umbrella for the sun and the rain.
Interesting. What was the best thing you ate the entire trip?
Oh my God. We spent a morning in the Tsuzuki, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, but the famous fish market in Tokyo, where it's basically blocks upon blocks that are just stalls, and each stall specializes in just one thing. There's like a guy who just grills eel, and there's someone who just makes
not to purchase for home consumption, and you're eating it.
You're standing there. Actually, you do not walk and eat there at all. You get something from a stall, you stand near the stall, and there's things that say you can eat here, you cannot eat here. So you stand there, you eat whatever it is, like fresh off the grill, or what we had, tamago, which is the folded omelets that were literally like folded right in front of us, cut up and handed right to us, like something that in a US sushi bar would cost $5 for one tiny little slice. We got a whole tray of hot off the pan for 200 yen, which is the equivalent of $1.50.
Wow.
And then if you want a cup of beer, that's an extra $2. Like an entire sea urchin full of uni, for like the equivalent of like $7.
Incredible.
Just it kind of made you weep, because that you're going to go home and pay ridiculous amounts for all of this back home. But it was just like, to just be able to taste pure, fresh ingredients that had just been like caught that day or the day before, right from the source. It kind of made me a little teary.
So amazing. I know I love sashimi and all that. I will go nuts.
And I gotta say, on the opposite end, our last day in Kyoto, we ate at like kind of their equivalent of Wendy's, this little chain. It's a chain. It's a big chain, I guess. But these little bowls of rice with sukiyaki beef or teriyaki chicken on top, and it's like a lunch for $4 was like more satisfying than anything that I'd had in the States in a long time. So yeah,
Sounds like an
seeing
amazing
how
trip.
the number one thing that shocked me was, yes, airfare is expensive and it's a pain to get over there. A lot easier if you're flying from the West Coast. A 12-hour flight with the 2 meals, you watch 3 movies, you take a nap, and it's done. If you're on the West Coast, it's really doable. Um, but once you get the expense of the airfare out of the way, we stayed in 5-star hotels for $100 a night. We
Wow.
theme park tickets there are all, you're paying 70 or $80 a day instead of $150 a day.
And the merch
Um,
is cheaper too, right?
Merch is cheaper, but the biggest thing is food. The most expensive meal, a gourmet meal for 2 people for under $100, and most of our meals, 2 people, came in at $20, $30 at the most for a really good dinner. You don't have to tip. Tipping is considered offensive there. Subways, trains are cheap and reliable, and their Go Taxi app is so much better than what we have for Uber. Like, no matter where we were, we hit it, and in 2 minutes, someone was there, and we knew exactly how much it was going to cost. Everything just works.
Wow.
So
We lived up to the hype and then some.
and then some, and I will not wait 50 years to go back. That is for sure. So
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you had
I
an
need a sip
incredible
of cold
time.
coffee right
Yes.
now.
No, go. I mean, it just sounds so amazing. I know for so many
And
people, it's our bucket list trip, but it is.
it
You gotta really take
don't
the
keep it in your
time.
bucket list,
Yeah.
because it's honestly, once you make that step, once you find that airfare and make that booking, the rest is really surprisingly easy. And it was a great experience and way less stressful once I did it than I thought it would be. So um I would say talk to MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. There is no travel agent on earth who will help you with Tokyo Disneyland. At least no American travel agent.
Right. You're
That
on your
they
own, kid.
just don't do it. So thoughts and prayers for using the Tokyo Disneyland website. That was the most stressful part of the whole experience. But they can help you out if you want to plan a bucket list trip of the rest of Japan. So give them a call. Anyway, without any further ado, because we've had a whole lot of ado,
Yes,
we are going to jump into our
Okay.
very abbreviated news in the queue. All right, we are starting off in Epcot with what will be sad news for some and happy news for others. Epcot is changing its mammal program by removing the dolphins and swapping out the manatees who live at the seas with Nemo and Friends. So if you have always wanted to dive with dolphins inside the tank at Epcot, you've got a very, very limited amount of time left to do it before that experience goes away forever. Have you ever got to dive at Epcot? It was not on my bucket list personally.
That is not on my bucket list. I'm not a diver. I'm not really into the thing. But when I was a kid in the 90s, there was a program where you could sleep over there, and I slept in there.
Oh,
It's
and
very limited. Your
oh,
parents would drop you off. It was a very short run program. You got a Disney sleeping bag, you got a Little Mermaid sleeping bag. They'd feed you and you slept there.
wow.
So
So
that's
a
cool.
lock-in. Okay.
Yeah. So this was really 90s. I remember it, thank God. But it's really funny because I always try to find information about it on the internet. And it's like, I know I didn't make this up because I remember my parents remember it. But that was also the time they did weird programs too. Like I remember going to other things like that in my family. I don't even know what it is, but and that was the coolest.
Well, the 5.7 million gallon aquarium pavilion at Epcot, originally known as the Living Seas, now known as the Seas with Nemo and Friends, has been home to lots of programs like that, diving programs, and program with dolphins. I remember back in the day they were trying to teach dolphins to talk, right? They had like boards with different symbols, sort of
Yep.
like you would use with a nonverbal person to try to teach them to communicate. Well, the last of the Epcot Dolphins, there are three of them right now. They will be moving out to the Gulfarium Marine Adventure Park located in Fort Walton Beach in Florida. And that's going to happen in late October. That's a new multi-million dollar facility called Dolphin Oasis that opened up earlier this year. It's got dolphin encounters and a live show. The dolphins at Epcot didn't really perform per se. They were more just kind of exhibits. So I don't know if these dolphins are going to be trained to perform in a live show or not, but that facility is accredited by the Alliance of Marine Mammal Parks and Aquariums and the International Marine Mammals Trainer Association. So Disney is saying that they are doing this for the sake of the dolphins, for their benefit. But it means that the Dive with the Dolphins program, called Dolphins in Depth, which allowed swimming with the dolphins encounters, that is going away permanently. And Dive Quest, which is another diving program, that is at least going to stop temporarily, just so they can do infrastructure work on the tanks. So the last day that they will honor reservations, existing reservations, is October 19th. I believe, I don't know if they are still accepting new reservations. It may be completely sold out by the time you hear this. Those folks who already have their bookings up to the 19th will be the last ones to experience this attraction.
Yes, whatever is best for the dolphins. I just finished watching Chimp Crazy. I don't know if you've heard of that on HBO
Is
Max.
this sort of a Tiger King spin-off type thing?
Yes, and it's like taking them out of captivity and putting them into these world-class facilities. So whatever is best for the dolphins, go free.
Yeah. If you still want to see dolphin encounters, SeaWorld Orlando and Discovery Cove both offer them in Orlando. Beyond the dolphins, the manatees are doing a little swap. Lou, who is one of their current dolphins, was moved as of September 11th, 2024. And a new manatee is going to be coming in to accompany Little Joe, who is the remaining manatee. This is part of Fish and Wildlife Service's statewide initiative to move manatees throughout Florida. I don't know if this is for socialization or just to give them some exercise. Maybe give them a nice change of scenery.
I love the manatees. That's always my favorite when I go in there looking at them. They're so big.
The best place if you're in Florida, take a drive to Three Sisters or Crystal River and see them in their natural habitat near the springs. They are just amazing. There is, of course, a manatee crisis. We've been seeing declining manatee populations. So Disney hopes that this will be part of addressing that crisis. Of course, if you are just into the Seas with Nemo and Friends for the ride past the cartoon fish, that's still in operation and that will not change. And if you want a flashback and you want to see what all this looked like, check out The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney Plus, which spotlighted some of the animal care going on there.
Awesome.
Next up, Nintendo and Harry Potter retail experiences, including a Butterbeer bar, are coming to Universal CityWalk Orlando. Universal has finally admitted. Universal is famous for getting something at least 3/4 of the way done before they even admit that there's work going on. There's been rumors for a long time that the former Quiet Flight Surf Shop and the Cinnabon were going to turn into Harry Potter and Nintendo shops, and now it is official.
The worst kept
Um,
secret.
yeah, worst kept secret. I guess the only real news here is that this is not going to be opening until sometime in 2025. Joining the hype train for the upcoming Epic Universe. If you remember, Quiet Flight was the place that had the photo op with a surfboard out front. And Cinnabon was the place to get your blood sugar up in the morning.
Or that intoxicating smell wafting into the water.
Exactly, yes. Instead, you will be able to get butterbeer, hot, cold, frozen, or vegan, apparently, which great news. Or to get some merchandise related to Nintendo or Potter for the upcoming park. Um, that will be coming soon. We don't know the exact layout. I am hoping, based on the positioning of a construction wall that is in the back of the current studio store by the Harry Potter section, that this might become a cut through. Back in the day, there was a very convenient cut through where you could get from the Quiet Flight through to the clothing store on the other side and get a shortcut over to the studios. I hope that's coming back, but
And
something
air
makes me think
conditioned, yes.
air conditioning. It was so nice. Something makes me think that they might not want people just cutting through like that, but we shall see when this opens up in 2025, and I'm sure it will feature some of the merchandise that I saw in Super Nintendo World at Tokyo Disneyland. Which here's a hot take. Experiencing the Super Nintendo World, which is very, very close to what we're getting at Epic Universe, made me very, very concerned because
Why?
so the Hollywood one, we always were like, oh, this is the small one. The Japan one is much bigger. Japan one did not feel bigger. It is on 2 levels, and it does have some additional elements, but it was elbow to elbow packed, and it felt more congested. Especially, it didn't have the Donkey Kong area open yet. They had one very sad-looking employee standing in front of where Donkey Kong entrance is going, just
No.
standing there all day. The layout of it actually felt, especially since there's so many stairs going up and down. You come in at an upper level, you have to go downstairs or find an escalator or elevator. I'm sorry, and then it was almost like the footprint of the whole thing with 2 levels didn't really feel like as like more square footage as when it was mostly on one level in Hollywood. And it showed me that they're going to have timed entry or something like they have in Japan, because it's just going to be overwhelmed for sure.
Right,
I
and
didn't
honestly,
get to play any of the key games
yeah,
because the lines were much longer
it's just
in
not as
Hollywood.
great an experience when it's that busy. It is something you blow through, but you really don't get the essence of it.
Yep.
And when it's like really quiet, unfortunately.
Yeah. We did not rope drop. We had a express package. Their express packages are super complicated in Japan. You have to like get a timed entry for the land and then for each ride. And they kind of do it back. You get like a half-hour window, and you better be on there on time. So we did not have a ton of time to just explore Super Nintendo World. We'll say Yoshi exceeded my expectations. It's super cute.
Ooh,
I love a slow-moving sea ticket. I love your Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover,
same.
and Seuss High in the Sky trolley type rides, and this fits perfectly in with those. A lot of fun, worth doing twice, once during the day and once at night. The land in general is just going to be slammed if that's the size it is in Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, we know that's gonna be one of the most popular ones,
Yeah,
so hopefully
for
they
sure,
figure
for
out.
sure. All right. Well, stick around for more Epic Universe information as it comes online. And we're going to have some more merchandise Universal news a little bit later in the show. But first, we have to talk about Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which is resurrecting one of my all-time favorite coasters. The Big Bad Wolf is
Yes.
finally getting not being rebuilt, but getting a spiritual sequel in 2025. The land that the Big Bad Wolf once existed is now Verbolten, and Verbolten continues to run. But a new wolf-themed roller coaster is coming in 2025. Finally using the land from Drachenfire, one of the most infamous decommissioned roller coasters in history. I could do a whole hour on why Drachenfire maybe caused me permanent TBI from riding
Yes,
it
there's
too
a lot
many
of history
times
there.
during its short life. But finally, that empty plot of land and that old Q building is going to be reused for a new wolf-themed roller coaster. This time, a family-friendly suspended coaster that guests are going to be able to name through a contest that is open right now through September 25th.
That's such a fun idea. I love getting people involved,
Absolutely.
especially if it's your home park.
Gives the fans a little bit of ownership. The three options for this new coaster are either Wolfstrom, Wolf's Rain, or Geisterwolf. Three very Germanic.
Oh, I don't know what I'd pick. Geisterwolf sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Wolf's Rain sounds a little Nazi to me. Yeah. I
You're
don't
right.
know. I. I guess we can't call it the Little Bad Wolf, but it is kind of a Little Bad Wolf because it's a family-friendly ride that's only going to have a maximum speed of 40 miles an hour, height requirement of only 42 inches. What I am thinking is this is probably going to be very similar to the Phoenix Rising family suspended coaster that recently opened at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. That is 44 miles an hour, so very similar. I'm guessing it's they've just sort of teased this with a concept video that we've got some screenshots of on our website. They haven't specified a manufacturer, I don't believe, but I'm guessing that it's going to be a very similar model to that Phoenix Rising family coaster. These are getting more popular. We're seeing a bunch of these because, no launches, no extreme inversions or anything. But it looks like it's going to have this Bavarian village theming buildings to swing by. So that will definitely give it a leg up over some of the other coasters of its type that we've seen.
Yes, as long as I can get like a pretzel on the way, it's really fun. But I love these coasters. Sometimes I don't want the thrills.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I am hoping that this has better reliability and throughput than Dark Coaster. That was the indoor family coaster that replaced Dark Castle. And that was one of those things that's a good idea, but it's so slow loading and so inconsistent that it really just doesn't have the capacity. I hope this has better capacity than what we've seen from that. If you are getting hyped about this, Busch Gardens Williamsburg has put out some preview videos. They've done some social media videos. So check all those links out on our website, along with links to other recent family-friendly coasters, and as well as Loch Ness Monster, which got a nice refurbishment after so many years recently. We've got some videos of that too.
So fun. I got to get back there.
Yep. 2025. I love Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and that's my the first park I ever worked for. So, all right. So before we jump into our main attraction, we are going to hear a quick word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Pod.
Let's try that one more time. Ooh, okay.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
All right, for this week's main attraction, Universal Orlando has announced, both Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood have announced that Wicked the Experience are coming to both resorts. I don't know what the grammar is there. I think I had a mismatch there between my plurals. But suffice to say,
You're jet lag. It's okay.
Oh, I'm so jet lagged, can I tell you? No. Wicked is going to be descending upon both Universal Orlando, replacing the former Hello Kitty store inside the Studios Park, and also Universal Studios Hollywood over at CityWalk. And they are going to be new walkthrough experiences, merchandise, and dining, celebrating the upcoming film version of the Broadway play Wicked. Are you excited about this? It's been so long that we've been hearing about Wicked finally coming to the big screens.
It's so funny. I think I saw it on Broadway maybe like a dozen times.
Right?
It's not my favorite, but I love musicals, so I will be seeing it. I'm not, like as hyped as everyone. It's just not my favorite musical. I like it. I like it.
You know what? I've been a fan of Idina Menzel for a long time, since I saw her in the original cast of Rent, and then I saw one of her final performances of Wicked on Broadway, and have seen and reviewed the show, on tour multiple times. It's one of my favorite Stephen Schwartz musicals, and I I love that we have a reference in our article about it to Adele Dazeem. That's a really deep cut for musical theater fans. A Wicked without her or Kristen Chenoweth is not my Wicked, but this is I think going to be the Wicked for a whole new generation. I especially know there are a lot of Ariana Grande fans who are very excited to see her as Glinda. And from the clips I've seen, Cynthia Erivo is doing a great job as Elphaba. And I liked what John Chu did with In the Heights. I thought there was a lot of visual imagination.
Yes.
I'm not sure that the movie needs to be 2 movies. I thought the play was long enough and maybe could have been tightened, not expanded. But what do I know? I'm not building a franchise.
It's just so funny to me how when studios put out movie musicals, they're never really transparent about what it is, and most people didn't know
they kind of want to
that this
color
is a
purple
two-parter.
Yeah, right.
Which is hilarious. When people post about it online, you're like, wait, this is 2 parties.
Right.
I don't know why they're so weird when it comes out to putting movie musicals. There was something else that came out that was a musical that they didn't tell people were a musical.
The color purple, they kind of hid it in the advertising.
Why don't we just own it? We have so many musical theater kids. The movie's going to do well. Just be real.
Well, hopefully they're expecting this movie to do well, because in late October, we are going to get to experience at Universal Studios Florida in Orlando the Wicked the Experience. This is a walkthrough attraction. It's going to feature costumes and props from the movies, as well as specialty merchandise and snacks. This is taking over the shop that had Hello Kitty and Betty Boop, as well as the Universe, UNIVRS, which was trendy apparel. All those 3 stores have been closed for a little bit and are getting a makeover. Over in Universal Studios Hollywood, you're going to find 2 Wicked-themed retail locations, both opening in late October. One's going to be inside the feature presentation store in the park. Another is going to replace the Universal store in CityWalk Hollywood.
I love that.
And then over in the cinema in CityWalk, you're going to be able to see a display of costumes from the movie. starting around November 22nd. If you want to display your loyalty to Shiz University, a whole range of merchandise is going to be coming out. And you are going to also be able to enjoy food and beverage from Toothsome and Voodoo Donuts, which can be found in both city walks.
I do love the Shiz merchandise,
Yeah.
especially that like sport college
Yes,
duffel bag thing is very cute.
that's fun. And lots of bright pink.
I thought black was the new pink, but
Yep.
okay.
Exactly. And some very colorful shakes and drinks that'll be coming to Toothsome. And this is, not quite as cool as that Autumn of Oz festival in Land of Oz that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And it's also not quite the return of the great movie ride that we all would like to see. But if you want to learn more about any of those things or the Wicked experiences coming to Universal Orlando, please head on over to attractionsmagazine.com for all
I
the
think you
details.
said it best. This is not the Wicked for us. We're too old.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm still gonna
it's
go and
for the
check this
Ariana
out.
Grande.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
check it out. I'm
Yes. Oh, same,
very
same.
curious. I want to see how they arrange it, how they perform it, and definitely I think if nothing else visually it'll be great. So I'm excited to check out some of these props and costumes that'll be on display in Orlando. So that is just about going to bring us to the end of this episode, right on the hour mark.
Did it.
Before we check out, let us check in with a few comments that we were left. Sonia checking in, wishing
Hello,
us good
Sonia.
morning. Hi, Sonia. Also, Michael Bingham checking in. He was saying that Full House and Boy Meets World both filmed episodes at the Living Seas in Epcot. I
Yes.
vaguely remember the Full House one. Never watched Boy Meets World. And Bailey was wondering, will this be where Hello Kitty is or somewhere in CityWalk? Yes, replacing Hello Kitty inside Universal Studios. But if you're at CityWalk in Hollywood, it's going in the Universal store. All right. Well, that is going to just about bring us to the end of this week's show. Before we go, we want to thank our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And I would like to remind everyone to please give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube or Facebook. And please give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else that you happen to be listening to us. And until next week, please follow us on attractionsmagazine.com. Search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media accounts. And Carly, where can folks find you on socials?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on X at Carly Caramana.
And you can find me on socials at Kuberski at The Unofficial Guides. And you can pre-order my new unofficial guide to Universal Orlando 2025 at theunofficialguides.com. We hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.